Ivy Ken, so you're here at George Washington University, and you're on the faculty, and Haley used to be one of your students, and you are involved in raising the awareness of food with students, and one of your key goals is improving food in schools. Why don't you talk to us about your work and the challenges and what you've been able to do?
Well, I'm very interested in what's going on with school food. And I think the biggest obstacle to having healthy, nutritious, sustainable school food is that we've come to think it's normal for companies to profit off of children's meals. And I'm not talking about modest profit. School meals are a big deal. They're a big part of a sustainable urban food system and national food system. 31 million children a day eat lunch with the National School Lunch Program. And while you and I might think about schools as those places in our neighborhoods where children go to learn, companies think about them as markets. The federal government had $11 billion to spend on the school lunch program last year. And if you are a company that is doing what you're supposed to do, which is maximizing profit in service to your shareholders, you would be crazy not to go after that market. This has not been good for our kids. It has not been good for our food system or the sustainability of it. It has brought products onto children's meal trays rather than food. Which is the problem that many people here on the panel are addressing, but we haven't yet named. And when children get used to products rather than food, and they get divorced from the sources of their food, and they become acclimated to a diet that fosters obesity, diabetes, and other health problems. And in the meantime, our soil is being depleted, we're using fossil fuels, it just all adds up to no good. So I think we really have to keep an eye on the companies that are involved in producing, supplying, distributing, and even creating products for our kids in schools.
So are you, have you been able to make change or change the dynamic in school systems? For example, I'm aware of an organization called Food Corps that's trying to change state level rules on foods and to try to reconnect children to gardens and landscapes and improve the quality of foods. How about you?
Yeah, Food Corps is a fantastic program. I have 2 kids in public school here in DC, and they're so lucky right now because they have a Food Corps worker there who is creating a fresh fruit and vegetable farm stand every Friday and things like this. The school is also part of a program called Food Prints, which the school has a garden, but then we found over years and years, those of you who are parents will understand this. You put in a lot of effort in the garden. You do it for 2 months, you do it for 6 months, maybe you even do it for 2 years, but when you're done doing your work, it kind of falls. And the Food Prints program hires somebody. I think this is a really important part of a sustainable food system. Hiring people, paying workers to do the jobs that are required to maintain a sustainable food system. So we were able to hire somebody to come in and be the engine of the garden and get like Councilmember Che said, get the sweet potatoes into the classroom where they make sweet potato quesadillas with cilantro aioli or something like this. So these are really important, and I'm with Thomas as well with the practice policy links, because without a policy like the one Mary Che described, the demand for things like farm-to-school programs and locally produced goods would not be there. You have to understand what a hard job it is to be a school food service director. you're putting out fires all over the place. You've got to make sure that the food's not too hot, not too cold, that it hasn't been sitting too long, that it doesn't have salmonella. It's a hard job. And then on top of that, we're saying, could you put some locally grown produce in the meals now and then too? It's easy for them and understandable for them to rely on food corporations to say, look, we have this little package of food. It has a nutrition label on it. Pass it out to every kid. There's no mess. You don't have to worry about the nutrition requirements. It's all just right there. But without legislation like the Healthy Schools Act, which puts in the law, I'm on record as having cried the first time I read the Healthy Schools Act. It's so beautiful because it says farm to school programs will be monetarily rewarded in our public schools. We will pay you extra. The city will reimburse you more as a school if you partake of a farm to school program and get a locally produced fruit or vegetable, unprocessed or minimally processed, in your kids' lunch every day.